Hello, and welcome to my social theory and globalization presentation by yours truly, Alan Farms. So, this presentation is about connecting Wallerstein, Mills, Harvey, Gilman, and Butler's work to the concept of globalization. Here are a couple quotes from some of the more well-known scholars that I've mentioned previously in globalization studies and analysis. So, what is globalization in a nutshell? It's basically the shrinking of the world and where everything becomes more common, similar, and shared. From culture to values to economic systems, beliefs, etc., you could say that this is due to technology and rapid transmission of communication, as well as goods and services. Now, on to our first social theorist regarding globalization, Mr. Emmanuel Wallerstein. So, Wallerstein is an American who pioneered the world systems theory, WST, that picks up on Marx and Engels' parallel perspective on globalization that was originally created by Lenin. This world systems theory, however, is more relevant to the 20th and 21st centuries when he analyzed more long-term trends in the global markets, as well as the circulations of goods and services within these markets. Okay, so Wallerstein had a very thorough breakdown of the WST slash globalization that can be summarized here. He mainly focused on the economic aspects of globalization and thought that the global system was organic and could evolve. He also felt that economies are structured by politics, culture, and geography. And lastly, and this surprised me, he thought that capitalism is the dominant economic system in a global market due to the exploitation of labor and also the accumulation of wealth. This then creates an uneven development and inequalities around the world. To the work of C. Wright Mills. Mills was considered very American due to his upbringing in a middle class Texas home. He was also a staunch advocate for democracy, loved riding motorcycles, etc. And in his work on sociological imagination, he created what's called grand theory to help create broad universal frameworks or systems to explain society that favored qualitative research instead of the quantitative, quote, abstract empiricism, unquote. In his work, The Power Elite, Mills deconstructed the ruling groups and power within the United States. He believed that three groups controlled the bulk of power in the US. Ironically, these were the terrorist targets of 9/11. This is more or less the bourgeoisie, and notice how he calls them the power elite instead of the ruling class, making them distinct groups within the ruling class. On to the work of David Harvey. Now, Harvey was a Brit. He had a deep admiration for Marx. This is mainly due to Marx's accurate prediction of cultural and economic globalization, population surge, technological impacts, and urbanization, to name a few. He revived the stagnant field of geography and rebranded it in what's called urban geography to represent the infusion of global, geospatial, and neoliberal interpretation. Now, Harvey's modern illustration of neoliberalism is straightforward and second to none when explaining the capitalist takeover of the 20th century. He highlighted the neoliberal shift during this time period and how it shaped the exploitation of capitalism that we see today, i.e., more billionaires than ever before, lack of trade unions, stagnant wages, etc. So, born in the US, Gilman became a well known feminist, author, and theorist in the women's movement. Uh, Nearly a teenager at the time of Charles Darwin's The Descent of Man being published, her perspective on gender roles in humans and other animals was bold yet innovative for its time. She believed that human social evolution was a hopeful process through which the equality of the sexes would eventually emerge. Now, in one of her more famous writings, Women in Economics, Gilman advocated for the economic independence of women, the social responsibility of childcare and how this related to Mother Nature, which probably stimulated her fascination with reform Darwinism, aka eugenics, which was popular at this time. Lastly, we have the work of Judith Butler, who is a prominent gender theorist who opened up new ideas and critical analysis of gender in society. One of her second best known writings was titled Bodies That Matter in 1993, where Butler, like Michael Foucault, makes a case for gender, sex, and sexuality all being what's called quote unquote products of discourse. Now, according to Butler in her application of globalization, the use of sex demarcations or boundaries is an arbitrary man made concoction that is used to regulate groups of people. Moreover, this doesn't align with the complexities of nature, and sex is a much more intricate realm or web of societal acceptance. When asking myself which of the theories covered do I feel is most useful in understanding globalization, I speculated that I would choose Gilman immediately due to her association with evolutionary theory, which is my cup of tea. However, once I dove a little deeper into the readings, I felt that Harvey's analysis was much more relevant to today's current trends and issues. Gilman's Darwinian principles are still very relevant, as well as Harvey's, but Harvey's were very accurately described and also predicted the modern world we live in today. Lastly, here are my numerous references. Thank you for your time and have a great day.